Hello, folks. So it's Bill, and I'm here again after some time without recording videos here for you. But a lot of things have happened the last year. So for you, just to imagine, I'm even in another country, and I'm back. And what I want to do now is to start recording more content and helping you on this journey learning about Z. So to start today, we are going to start with the ZXplore. So it's a new version of the master the mainframe. So they have changed how the platform looks like. I think it also the way we are progressing is a bit different. But what I'm focusing is more into the challenges that we have. So here on the ZXplore, we have the challenges is split in different phases. And what we are going to do in this video, we are going to look into the fundamentals. So inside of the fundamentals, we're gonna have different skills to cover. So I'm not going to cover the VSC1 because this is basically I suggest you to do on your own to get your VS Code and configure your user ID and password. So basically, this is the challenge where you get your user ID and password, and you get access to a real mainframe. So then we are going to start looking into Zowe. So into through VS Code, we are going to access some files inside of the ZOS. We are going to understand a bit how it works, what we can do. So we are going to play a bit with that. We are going to work with some script languages called Jcl. So this is how we inform to the system what we want to run, what are the inputs and the output files that we are going to pass to a specific program. Let's do a bit about Unix system services, a bit of coding with Python. Rexx, another traditional language that we can use inside of the ZOS, and then we close with a bit more complex, but it's still on the easy level. So it's easy if you just read through the code and go through the documentation. Okay, so let's get started now, and I have here my VS Code. So if you are just starting out, I'm just doing an overview because I already have Zowe installed, I already have my user ID and password configured. But what you're going to do, you're going to start with the marketplace, where you can find the extensions we are going to use. And what the first challenge asks you to do is to install the IBMZ Open Editor. So even if you don't have Zowe, it will install Zowe for you as it's a prehex. So you are basically using this over Zowe. When you have this icon on your VS Code, basically you get access in the basic functions with data sets, Unix and service, jobs. These three tabs allow you to work inside of the ZOS. So with the functions we're going to use here inside of the ZXplore. If you are new with Zowe and just started with ZXplore, the first thing you're going to do, you have to add your profile. So you have to tell to the VS Code, to Zowe, how you are going to connect to this environment. So you are going to pass your user ID, your password, what is the address from this LPAR. So everything is inside of the first PDF in the first challenge that we have here. Okay, skipping that, we are going to talk more about this details soon. So let's get the challenges that we have. So first things first, we are going to start with the files one challenge. So how are the files stored? How are the files managed? How we organize all these kind of things inside of the LPAR? So there are some different concepts when we are talking about Unix, Linux, or Windows, because when we are talking here about files inside of the ZOS, we have several types of files. You have, for example, sequential, partitioned, VSANs. So this tells the system how the data will be stored in the disk, how the data will be, how we can access that. and we are going to focus here in two kinds. So sequential data sets and partitional data sets. To make it easier, let's just compare sequential data sets like a simple file, and the partitional data sets, they are going to be like our folders when we are working inside of the Zowe. Okay, when we are working with data sets, let's look here at this example. We have this name ZXP.public. So basically, there are some naming conventions we have to use here, and we split the name of this data set in qualifiers. So for example, here, the first thing we are being asked to do is to add a filter for our VS Code for Zowe, and we are passing our user ID and this zxp.public. So these two qualifiers is split by a comma. And this qualifiers is how we are filtering the data that we are getting from the LPAR, and how we are how we are going to have them here. So let's do it here on the VS Code. So first, I'm gonna create a new filter, and I will pass my ID, and then comma zxp.public. So basically, there are two different namings that we are going to use in this whole phase. The first one is our ID. So we are going to be able to work with all data sets that we may create. And everything that starts with ZXP public are the base for the challenge. So we are going to need some of the files that are inside here. So here we see with these icons the difference. So here we can see that this is like a paper, like a document. So this is our sequential data set, and these other ones are we have the icon from a folder. They are our partitional data set, and inside of them we have some members. So the members would be how we are going to represent a file inside of the partition data set inside of the directory. So let's make this this comparison. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, so there are now some examples about what we are going to do. We need to get our setup to start the challenges. So the first thing, the next thing we're going to do, we are going to submit a script that we have here, a Jcl that we have here, that will build the files we need. So let's take a look on that. So inside of ZXP public Jcl, we have the PDS build. Where is it? Okay, there you go. So basically, I'm not going to explain all these details right now, because we are going to have an opportunity when we are talking about the Jcls in the next challenge. But what this job is doing, we are creating the data sets that we need. So data sets with input, key, surprise, secds. So let's submit that, and to do that, we are going to right click and submit job. So this is how we call the unit of program that is running, the unit of work that is running in the ZOS. And every time we submit something, we get this feedback from VS Code, from Zowe. And we can use that to see what happened, and we see if our execution has completed or not. So let's go back here and refresh. So when we just click in this arrow, it should refresh our data, and we should see here our data sets being created. Okay, so the step number 3 we have completed. Let's see what is next. Okay, show us what you got. Input data set. This is a partitional data set, and these are members inside it. Let's look at them and don't do anything. Okay, so inside of the rename, we need to follow some instructions. So there are some members we're going to use, and let's take a look on that then. So first thing, we need to rename the member. So let's find what member we need to rename. So inside of my input data set, M2, okay, rename this member to purple. So let's do it. Rename. Interesting. When we right click, we choose the option rename member, and this just get this pop-up box where we can just pass the new name for that. So like you were doing, I don't know, for your Linux or Mac or anything, just right click and rename that. Okay, the next step we need to delete. So let's delete a member. And similarly, so let's find which member we should delete. So not this one, not this one. Okay, delete this member. Perfect. Right click, delete. Okay. Now we are going to copy. So from the, let's see, looking surprise, because surprise there is yet another data set in there for you. So let's take a look on what we have inside of surprise and see the instructions. Nice. And just to explain why I'm getting surprised here, because I have seen other examples and looks at the names, and there are some changes from last year's, but these are dynamic. So it's not what I'm having here is not the same that you're going to have, but basically you should do the same thing I'm doing and find that out. So here we have a name of the color, and we are going to copy that to our input. So copy member, paste member, and it asks for if you want to keep the same name. So okay. Okay, so we have pasted that. Now we are going to visit the other kind of data set, the sequential one that I have mentioned. And just a observation. When you're doing this, read all the challenges, because they may have really some good tips for you during this process if I'm going too fast. So let's take a look on sequential data set. So it will be the myID and secds. So let me take a look here. So secds. Oh, nice. So it has some statements about the Z15, and I don't know when you are seeing that, but I think 1 or 2 weeks ago, IBM just released the Z16. So, hey guys, you need to update that. So let's see what our instructions are asking to do here. So we've been using this input data set. For this, I want you to just do that. A new line record saying hello. So let's add a line here. Hello from Netherlands. I'm gonna save. And let's we've been using your input instead of separate contain for this second, just add a new link. Then save the file. Okay, and that's it. So we have just saved it. The next one, make your own member and give the name my new mem. Okay, and then we are good to test this challenge. So let's create here new member. Create new member. My new mem. Oh, my new mem. Okay. Member created, and we are good. So now we are going to submit another job, another work that will check if we are good or not, and that is inside of the public Jcl, the files one. So let's go here, find the public Jcl files one. Okay. Basically, this is how all the jobs, how all the verification or this phase is happening. So we are going to have a process here that will verify if all the keys needed for my user ID has been completed or not. And if so, we should get the response. We should get some feedback on the site or even here on after the submission. So let's take a look here. If I just submit this job, I get it here. So let me open. When it's open here in the bottom, we can see what happened, and we can verify the check stage. And yep, we have that correct. We have completed files 1. So basically, this is how we are going to work through all the challenges. So let's go to the next one. I'm closing because I don't need it anymore. And let's go to Jcl 1. Okay, so Jcl, it's kind of unique thing here that we have here. So on the mainframe environments, we are going to. This is how we can pass the information to the system that we want to run a program, and we want some and what are the input or output file that we are going to need for this program. So we name it. We give the instructions for finding for which program we want to run, and we give the instructions, the statements with the files we want to use with that program. So basically, all these steps we did with PDS build on the previous challenge and with the Jcl with files 1, these are Jcls. So let's take a look now on public Jcl. Member named Jcl Setup. This is fairly simple, so let's take a look on that. Jcl Setup. Okay, so well, here is a good example for us. It's simple to get started. The first line we have here is the job statement, what we call job statement. So this is we are passing the name of our process or for a job. Then we have this group of lines that are called the steps. In this case, it's not named, but like Jcl, like the job statement here, we could have a name here for this step. And what is happening here, we are calling a program called IFBR14. So remember, when I said about Jcl, we are passing a program and we are passing some files for that if we need. In this case, this program is curious. It may be confusion, but it doesn't anything. It is there just for us to be able to allocate and work with files. And what we are doing here is basically that. So we are allocating our load, our Jcl, our source, and our output data set. We have here on the DD statements, the data definition, the names of the statements. Well, we are using the concept of variables here. So the same job applies for everyone doing the ZXplore. And we pass the qualifier, the last qualifier here for this data set. So let's submit that and see this data set's being created. So right click, submit job, job submitted, and let me see here, job completed. Okay, so if I go here and I refresh, you see we just have 4 data sets, but when we do this, we should have more. So let's refresh and see if this low Jcl source output were created. Perfect, there we go. So let's continue with the Jcl. We have submitted. We have it filtered. We don't need to do that here. And you saw how I verified if my job was completed and how it happened. So here we have this CC000, the completion code. So this is a good indicator if your job has completed fine or not. So in this case, we have 0. So when you have the lowest number, that's better. So like we have here the 0, it means that there are no errors. And as this number are increasing, it means that you are getting from warnings, errors, and your situation is getting bad. So in this case, it's fine, it's completed. When we are looking here we see the name of our job, so the Jcl Setup, what we had here. We see a job ID, so this number. So this is the number the system uses to identify our job, because you can have multiple jobs inside of the system with your same name, not running at the same time, but they could be there after they run, and you can identify that with the number. This is unique. And then we have here some other areas, statements, or cards. I don't know how to call that, but anyway. So you have here the Jazz message log, where you can see okay, our job, the time, the day we have started our job, the steps and the returns from that. So this just have 1 and it was completed with 0. So some statistics about the execution, the Jcl. So remember, our Jcl has the Zowe ID. So here we see the conversion from the variable being converted to my user ID, and the messages from this execution. So what we see here are the data sets being allocated. Perfect. Let's continue. Okay. Right. So now let's go to the next Jcl, and we are going to work with a COBOL together with our program. So it's not just something that we are just allocating some or data sets, but we are running a program, a COBOL. Let's take a look on that. So we are going to use the ZXP public Jcl, and we are going to copy. Let's take a look. The Jcl2. So public Jcl and the Jcl2. Copy member. Let's paste it here. And I will keep the same name. And there we go. Okay, so let's take a look on what is happening here. So we have here our job statement. We are passing this time identification for our job. We have 2 execs. Take a look on that. So we are doing 2 steps on that. So basically we are telling that this is grouped and this is grouped. So the first thing, if you look here, we have PGM and what we are calling, and here we don't have anything. So this is the first difference from these 2 steps. So just as curiosity, this means that here you are not calling a program, but a procedure. So imagine that you have this as default, and then you want to share that with someone, and the person just call a name from this procedure. So basically something like that. And inside of that, probably we are going to see it's expanding, it's calling other programs. The important thing here is that we are passing for our procedure some values. So for example, it has some default there, and we are overwriting this data statement sysint and sysl mod. And here we are passing the COBOL program we are using, and we are passing where we are going to have our load. And here we are going to execute call our load program. And so how the system knows that where to find this program? We are passing this data statement called steplib, and we are going to inform the same data set that we have used here to save our compiled program. Then we have other DD names here that if we go to this program, we are going to see something interesting. Let's take a look here. So public source CBL1, public source, where is it? Here you go. And CB01. Okay, so let's open this side by side. So let's take a look here. Let me just change this to COBOL, so it's better to read, to see. So we see that we have here F names, L names, combined. Oh, and this, I may be wrong, but I think this is the first error that we have here. And basically, this is how we link and we inform the input and output files to our program. So let's fix that ahead. And this is another hint that I can give to you. Always take a look on the codes and everything before you just submit them. So take a look, read the comments, read the code, try to understand before going and just executing everything just to get to the place where you are. Okay, so let's take a look here. So kicking off some COBOL. And yeah, as I was mentioned, we can see here, so we should run the code and we should have an error. And comparing the code, we should find it. So probably we have fixed that and we are not going to see this error. So submit job. There you go. Let's take a look. It's still active, so it's still running. And have completed. Yeah, we eliminated the error before it happened. That's good. Okay, next up, we're gonna have another Jcl to work. So let's take a look on Jcl 3 on public and copy that for us. Okay, so here is our data set. So basically we are going to have several IBGenera, so another program that we use here to copy data. So here it's talking about the dummy. This is what. Remember the COBOL code that we just saw. That program was expecting some files, and we had to pass these files through the information. So IBGenera also expects to have some files when it's working with that, or some information to where to output the data. So basically, when we are doing the dummy, we are just saying, okay, for what we need here for this purpose, we don't need. But the program, if it doesn't see on Jcl, it will fail, so we pass this dummy statement. Okay. Oh, this is important when we are talking about the Jcl. So we have here also some comments about the disposition. So look here. When we are starting this, we are starting with a new file here on the Jcl tree out, and then we are modifying the same file. So see that its position is not is how it's working, and we see, for example, that we have the delete. If it fails, it's gonna delete. We have some other information here when we want to reuse, but we don't want others to use that. We have also the share to reuse an existing data set, but we just want to access the content, so we are not going to modify anything there. So we just need that for input, for example. And so let's take a look here. So field 2 of this position describes what should happen. Oh, yeah, also. This we are going to say what we do here is how we're gonna access the data, what we do if it completes fine, and what we do if it failed. So just some information. Now the idea is that we are going to submit the Jcl tree and look the output. So there are two edits you need to make in order do this completely. So the idea is that we have 23 lines of records and we have some data duplicated. So let's take a look on that. Let's submit it. Submit job. It will be easier to find what is duplicated here. So, okay, completed. So basically our job has completed and the output should be on Jcl tree out. So let's refresh this. Jcl tree out should be created and it's a sequential data set. How do I know that? Because of this. So here we are talking to that we are going to save in the sequential data set. Here we go. Okay, we have some data duplicated Cortland and Beacon. So let's take a look here on our JCL and fix that. Okay, this one is easier. We are just going to remove this line. Okay, here, be careful when you are doing the edit. So we need to remove the whole step that comes from here to here. So yeah, let's go. Okay, so let's submit this again. Submit job. And an error. Oh, let's take a look on that. So if I'm going to look to my job, when you have an error, you have something that you can do. So we're gonna see here on this first in this message log in which step the error happened. So in the first one, perfect. And if we go here, we can find the message, and there we go. So duplicated data set name. All you need to do, you can't have two files, two data sets with the same name, and it's trying to create a new file. So just delete the previous one and submit your job again. So submit job. Submit job. Perfect. Let's see. And job completed with 0. So if we look here, we are going to refresh. Let me close it while we are not using that. Jcl tree out. Let's take a look. And we have the 23 lines. Perfect. So let's verify what else we need. Yeah, so after that we should have completed. So let's just run the check JCL1 and verify if all we did was correct here. CHK JCL1 submit job. Let's take a look here. It's running. And let's see. And correct. So we completed another challenge about the JCLs. Let's go for Unix. So basically, all we are going to see here is as we had another operating system running inside of the ZOS. It's a component that's running there. That's really a Unix, a POSIX system based, and allow us to work, for example. As you work on Linux, Unix, or any other thing inside of this OS. So let's take a look here. So it's another way to connect, right? So the first thing we are going to do, we are going to need our terminal, and we are going to connect through SSH. So 200, let me take here, 204, 90, 150, 200. So let's go here. I will open my terminal, SSH, and Z12309, and here's my IP. So let's go there. My password, I don't remember my password. Okay. Okay, so basically we are connected through an SSH connection, so it's a secure shell. In here, we have our folder, so you can see this is the directory where we are inside of this system. We can also find it here. So if you come here and just type in the folder, you can see the content through Zowe also. So if I do here ls-al, I can see here my files and the same files and folders that I have here. So some basics about it. So this is a command. We use the command line to interact with the system. So we have directories, we have the files. It's not that different from what you are using if you are a Linux user or Unix user. So basically most of the commands should work in the same manner here. We are even using bash. So if you don't know, if you start typing a command and you don't know, for example, pw, you can press twice the tabs. It gives you the suggestions of the command you can use. So for example, here I just want to see where I'm working, so I print my work directory. I can see here. If I go to one of the folder, I use the cd, so cd.ssh. If I want to go back, I can use the two dots, or if I go to z public, that's another thing that we're going to see here, another folder, and I want to go back to my home directory, I can also use the tilde, and it goes back also to my home directory. As I said, we are using bash, so clear should work. Yeah, perfect. So let's go back here. So let's see what we have. Okay, it's not my first time that I'm connecting, so I didn't receive this alert. But for you, if you receive this message, it's basically saying you trust where you are connecting. Is it the right host? So just accept the fingerprint for this connection. And here are some information like I just said. Something important here. Let me see. Yeah, so there is another command we need to do here, ZXL Setup, that will prepare our environment, because remember, I don't have anything here, but I need to ZXL Setup to prepare my environment. And there we go. So we have all that we're going to need for this. Okay, so some basics about navigation, the ZXL setup again. Okay, refresh files and folders. So, okay, we can create files and folders here by right-clicking and creating directory, creating file, or you can create here. So there we are talking about some basics commands. So, for example, it asks us to do the touch my new file. Touch my new file. It's very used by people to just allocate a new file. So if I just displaying here, my new file is here. I have just created. And if you want to create folders, also you have the mkdir, my new dir. So dir, my new dir. If I refresh here also, I'm gonna see these files that are just created. Perfect. Invite Zowe to the party. Just the description I just gave about that. There's some information if you want to copy files or to remove directories. So this may be important for you to complete that. So again, read all these hints, read all the comments and everything that you have here. Okay, first thing, we are going to run a script. So scramble.sh. If we look here, scramble.sh. Some important things about this list that I did with this director. So here in the first column, we have the permissions about the file. So we have the first character saying, okay, this is a director. The next three, we'll talk about the permissions from the owner. Then we have permissions from people from the same group of this owner. So when we have more, how we group different users with here. So for example, let's suppose my company, the team that I'm working, I have my user ID, and all user IDs from my team are created in the same group. So here, IDs from my group can read and can execute the file, and I can read, execute, and write. So read, write, execute. And the last three for others that are not neither from my team or neither myself. Okay, so we have the Scramble script here. Let's open that and take a look. Scramble shell from mainframe. So there we go. Let's take a look here. So it's a shell script, and if you are new to this, don't worry. Let's read together. So we are getting one variable input and a second variable. If there is not two variables, if they one of them are empty, so if it's not equal to 2, it will print some message for us. So usage scramble file txt13. So here's an example how we execute that, and then we are going to take these arguments and work. Okay, first thing, we are going to test if the file exists, and if exists, we are going to take the content of the file to this variable. If not, we print an error. We are going to take all the content and ensure that is lowercase. So we are translating this using this function from upper to lowercase. This is interesting. This is basically something that we use usually to convert. For example, if A character, we change that for B. If it's B, we change for C. And this for the whole. So probably we have a secret message, and we are going to translate that. Okay, and so there is. We need to guess what is the exactly number that when we do this n times the translation, we know how to what is the exactly code, what is the right code. So let's cheat a bit. So the number here, we are saying that is, let's see. I've got a secret. We have okay. So yeah, there is this hint between 1 and 26, and again, this is why I always say to you, try to read and understand before you execute things. So let's do one thing here, and let's see. We are going to echo the variable scrambled, so we don't lose a lot of time just to guess the numbers, and we see what is the exact number that we need. So let's do this. So I'm gonna call the scrambled as age, and I need to pass the file that is. Let's see. You've got program comment, scrambled as age. Okay, let's take a look here. Okay, I think it's this one. So secret txt. Yeah. So let's use this secret .txt and use the biggest number, 26. Okay, so now we see all the lines, and when we get the right one, we just okay. Here we go. Congratulations, you unscrambled. So let's count, and 17, I guess. Let's see. So we should end on the right. Yeah! Congratulations, you unscrambled the message. The USS Challenger, it's here. So this is our correcting. So I will remove this because probably we're going to need that. And okay, we know the secret. Redirect the output, exploring space, right, and okay, so we are going to do different things now. So first, we want this output to be saved in a file. So we are going to create a USS out txt, and we are going to add the output to that. And there are some difference when we are doing this. Look here. This is when we, instead of having that on the screen, on the terminal, we want to redirect that to our file. So we are going to use this. But we can also use twice, so we append that. Basically, we are going to do this with the output. Then we are going to append the display command, so the space unit command. And lastly, we are going to append the date. Okay, so let's do this. So let me go back here. Let's see if it's fixed, just to don't have the other text in the message. Yeah, perfect. So let's do this now. So now we are going to redirect that to USS. What's the name? USS out.txt. Out.txt. Okay. And we are going to take the command here. So let me copy this to be easier. du/ak, is it? Yeah. This command display the space used for the files and directories that I have here in my directory. So I'm gonna send that in append to USS out.txt, and also the date. I'm gonna to append this date to the USS UXT. Okay, so let me refresh that. Where's my USS? Okay, there you go. Perfect. We have the message, we have the display command, and the date. So now you're going to check if all is good with the check USS. So let's go back here and find the check USS. Check USS. Where is it? Is USS or USS1? Check USS. Okay, check USS. And let's submit that. Submit job. It's running. Check stage. And correct, perfect. So we have completed another challenge, the USS. So this is basically just for us to feel how it works. So when we are working through the VS Code with the files, when we are working through the USS part with the jobs, and with the terminal. So several ways just inside of VS Code. These are not the only ways you have to access the mainframe environment. You have the traditional terminals where you can also do all the stuff that we are doing here. But just for us to know this way and get started. So let's do a bit of code. Let's see. So now we are going to start working with Python. So we are going to copy this to our directory, the code one. Let's gonna see what is inside, and a message about extensions. So I guess this is because when you have an extension, for example, for Python, it uses the interpreter to see what modules you have or not, to understand what you wanna type, and if you have that module installed, it uses this source to help you to suggest things. But we are going to use this on the mainframe, and inside of the mainframe, or VS Code or editor, even that we are seeing that formatted or pretty, it doesn't have access from the VS Code to know what is installed or maybe or not installed inside of the VS Code, inside of the mainframe. So it may bring to you some alerts, so be careful with that, because if this is specific to your environment, you won't see that, and you may be led to think that you are wrong and you aren't. So if you have this kind of issues, it's better to avoid that. I like to use, so I keep my extensions active. So let's take a look here. Okay, so basically we are going to let's run this. So there is another code. So I will use copy and zip public and code 1.py to my home directory here, and code 1.py. So it's here, and let's open that. Oh, the code doesn't need to be. Looks like we have right here. So, okay, so we start here telling the system. So this is something different. Even that is comment, it's comment. We tell here that if you're going to run this, we need to use Python. Here we have just some basic comments. So imagine that you have created something and you want to reuse that. So this is one of the things that we are doing here. So someone wrote a module, Python has these modules to work with time, to work with datetime, to get information from you. So we are importing that, so we don't need to handle that anymore. So we are so from this module, we are importing this function. We are importing the time, the get pass, and we are printing a message to get started, setting a number to 5 while the number is bigger than 0. So here we have a loop. We are taking the datetime and we are formatting the hour and printing that. So we decrease the number and we sleep for 1 second. So basically we are doing a looping and displaying the time during till we decrease this to a number that's not bigger than 0. We get our user ID. So we are using this to get our user ID that's running the program, and we are printing the message. So, another kind of loop. So for each character that we have inside of our user ID, we are printing we are checking if it's numeric. If not, if it's numeric, we are summing them and we are printing the total number. So basically, my user ID is 1Z12309. We are going to just ignore the Z and sum this. So let's run this. Yeah, so here we see everything happening. So current time being displayed and the message. Nice. Okay. So the next one, the code 2. Let's copy that. I don't know if I should have this code 2 here or not. So I will copy again the code, the Z public code 2. And I will pull from mainframe. I always do this pull from mainframe because if you have some issue, you're gonna. Okay, so we have some letters, a word, and if the letter in the word. So we check if the letter that we want to see here is inside of the word, and we are going to print that. So you're going to see. Okay. So let's run the code 2. So there is no Z inside of pumpkin. Oh, let's uncomment that. So, jeez. Perfect. And code 2.py. No, letter Z is not in. If we change that, I think we're pizza. It should have the first message. So this is for you to get use it to conditions. Yes, the letter Z is in the word pizza. Okay. Blocks for the better. Yeah, we just commented out, uncommented the second thing. We did that ahead. Or else, okay. Don't lose your marbles. Now we have another challenge. So we are going to copy the marbles.py and we are going to take a look on that. So looks we have some counters there, and we are going to work with other comparing things here. Let's go back. So copy the public marbles to the home directory. Marbles. Okay, again, we start with Python 3. We are going to use, we start marbles with 10. So here are the dots that we want to display. And while marbles is bigger than 0, we are going to print you have the number of marbles left. If, let's uncomment that. And this is wrong. Let me align everything. If marbles bigger than 3, you are running low on marbles. Oh no, so you are lower than 3 running. This is another way of saying subtract 1. So we are decreasing and printing. And new line empty. So let's see. Perfect. You have 8 marbles and 2. Okay, I think we are there. Okay, take a look in the code. 3 or fewer, so this is why we have the greater. Okay, so we should put here less or equal 3. Okay, and there we go, marbles.py, and now we have correct, because when we remove the equal, we may be excluded in one condition. That was what was happening here. Let's take a look. Okay, so we are going to also print the marbles, the asterisks. So here's some sample. So let's copy that to be easier. And let's add this, but it will always print the same. So I think it's not what we want. Yeah, so we need to print using the marbles variable. So let's just change it here. Okay, marbles.py, and there we go. So also we have the warning and we have the visual. Nice. So double check and submit. So let's check code. Check code and public Jcl, chk code and submit job. Let's check the output. Our job is running. Check stage. No, I don't think it's what we need. Yeah. Oh, incorrect? What I have done incorrect? Jeez. So something is wrong with my code. Okay, we want users to know the program is done. Let's check code. Have the right number of marbles. What I may have missed. You have, I think I know. So I think I know, I found. Look here, we want to see that before the message and not, oh geez, just because of that. So let me change it and put it here. And we're going to try again. Check code, submit job. Marbles by. It's happening correct. So what is wrong here? Ah, jeez. We forgot this. So we need to print the message here. This is just saying. Oh, so here was the type for that. So let's print it. And oh, this is wrong. Okay. And we should get this correct now. Check code, submit job. You are out of marbles. Geez, just one detail. So, as I said, pay a lot of attention on that, and because it may be on the details what makes you make the challenging correct. Okay, we are back on track. Uh, let's go to the Rexx challenge, and here is another step that I'm skipping because I already have Zowe installed on my machine. But I will just give some information for you. So the first thing we are going to install is Zowe CLI. So when we are talking about Zowe, you saw we had that component on VS Code that we are using to see visually the plugin inside of VS Code. We have the Zowe CLI that we use on the command line interface, so on the command line on the terminal, and basically this is connecting to the ZOS to start a task, a process that's running on the ZOS and giving us the information based on our comments. So there are other components for Zowe that are installed on the ZOS, but we are not talking about that. Just forget, we are just installing something in our machine. So here you have two instructions for Mac OS and for Windows. The Mac OS should be really similar to what you do on the Linux, but just for us to understand, so we are creating a folder. So this is to avoid issues with authority, so it doesn't install in some place that you don't have authority. You need to tell for with this component npm where to find that. So for this is needed that you have Node.js installed, because this component is a Node.js application. And npm is the package manager, is how we are going to install Zowe. It will bring the Zowe for us. So we inform that for path, so we know where to find this command. So like we did here, USS setup or the other commands, the system needs to know where the something is when you are calling that. So when we called Zowe, we need to know where to find it, the modules. So we are updating the path with this in the beginning, and don't forget to add the path, the traditional path that you already have here on this command. Here you have the instructions for Windows. Also, so you are going to install that through the PowerShell or the command, and then we can go to the terminal to work with some Rexx, so some codes. So let's copy them to, or I think we're going to have to copy that. So I start by copying the two Rexx from source into your own source. So guess name and some Rexx. So let me find it. I will close this just for a moment. Guess none. So copy member. Let's add to our source. Paste member. Guess none. And what is the other? Some Rexx. Okay, some Rexx. Copy member. And to source, let's paste member. Some Rexx. Okay, so let's see the source again. So here they are. Okay, I'm gonna change this Command Shift P for inform this is a Rexx, and also this one. Okay, so this is just printing things on screen, and the other is a game, right? So let's see what we have to do. Okay, so we are going to work now with terminal, but remember, if you are doing like I am here, you are now in the terminal but inside of the ZOS, and you need to do that outside. So I will just exit, and I'm back. So you're going to create your TSO profile. So don't forget to issue this command. So you're gonna need that to work to issue the commands. You need to set up the ZOSMF profiles ZXplore have created if you have more than one profile, because remember, we are working from our machine and calling services that are installed on our mainframe. The mainframe can have several parts, you can have several mainframes, so you need to know with what you want to talk. So this is how we do that. We have the profiles. The profiles know the address, and we need to set this for default, so we don't need to inform every time that we are going to which profile we're going to use. And let's run some Rexx. So Zowe TSO issue command, and let's do that. So the first thing is Zowe TSO issue command. And I'm going to pass here. So this is the Zowe command. I'm going to issue a TSO command, and this is my command. So if I was connected directly to the mainframe, it means that I'm executing what is inside of this data set. And with this SSM, we're going to tell the system to wait and return the execution for us. It's not interactable. So it connects, it runs, and we see the execution. Like we saw before, the sum Rexx is just printing these lines. And now we are going to start an address space. So basically, if we just, let's see here, what is the command? We do this. So basically, when we want to interact, we are going to create an address space first. And then with this identifier, if our Rexx or script or something, or we need to give more commands based on the response, we can continue interacting with that. So let's copy it, and we are going to use another command here. So let me copy this, will be easier. And then what we are doing is copying this, updating here, and here is my ID. So we are going to execute the same thing. So 12309. There we go. Well, no changes here for this, but I think it should just demonstrate another way. And now we are going to guess number, and we are going to use, okay, so here there was no difference, but let's see with the guess number. So here we are saying, okay, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10, secret, and tries, and do while. Okay, so basically, if we don't know the guess, we are going, if the guess is what we pass is different from secret, it will, because in the beginning the guess is empty, so it doesn't exist, so it will be different. Then we are taking that from the user, from the input, and if the guess is different the secret, it will increase the number of tries, and then we'll explain how many tries we had. So let's do another cheat here to be easier. So I will just say secret. So that's why you should keep everything safe. Otherwise, people can just do this kind of things. But this is just for studying, right? And I think this is the intention of this. So that makes you go there, try, and it's not wrong. This kind of cheat, you know. It's for you to learn and have this. You don't just go and execute everything. Try to understand what you are doing first. So now I'm gonna update here for guess num. I think that's it, right? Yeah. So when I execute that, okay, you see, you're gonna use the number 5. So now we're gonna update here and just send what is our guess. I will send something wrong. So if I do 7. You see? No, that's not. What's your guess? And we keep doing that. So let me put the 5 now. Perfect. So we are ready. We have completed that. So what we are going to do is check Rexx1. Interesting. So let's do that. So I will remove our cheat so no one knows about that. And check Rexx. It's check Rexx1. So, I know it's the source Jcl's check Rexx1 CK Rexx1. So let's submit this job. Job submitted. Let's see if we didn't miss anything. Correct, perfect. Okay, let's go. So we have completed and the last challenge. Nice. So let's do this. Okay, so here we're going to start with Z Open Automation Utilities, and this is something really nice. It is a set of scripts that we can use that let us interact with some system functions, with the system data sets or something like that, in the way that we are using on the Linux or in the through the terminal. So okay, let's see. So first thing, let's do this deco. So here we are going to use the dataset echo. So like we have the echo, we are going to do the dataset echo. So we are going to put this message inside of this dataset. Okay, so we are going to do this. Let me copy this over so it's better for us. Okay. And I will use this just for me. Oh, this I can edit. So let's see here. I will. Oh, geez. So here, Zowe, the Z Open Automation Utilities, it's not inside of our LPAR. So I'm gonna back to my system, to the ZOS, to the Unix system side, the Unix system services. And what's my password? I don't remember my password. Okay. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so let's copy the command, the paste. In here, let's change this. So this is my user ID. And this line goes at the bottom. So we are using the decho command with the append flag, so the message and where we are appending that. So press enter. Jcl tree out. So okay, so the results of our execution with I have to update. Go from mainframe with this line goes at the bottom. So perfect, correct. Hello down there. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, we should put the. Yeah, if I have read that before, I would see before having the error. Okay. Let me offset with the data set. So we have now a DSD spy. Let's copy that over. It's a Python script. So let's see what it's doing. So I'm going to copy public DSD spy to my home director. DSList. Okay, put from mainframe. Where is it? Okay. Yeah, so this is what I was mentioning about, So the Zowe 2 is something that is on the system, and I see, oh, there's something wrong, and there's not. So this is why it doesn't know where is it, so it doesn't know how to help you. So let's ignore that. So we are going to have a member list, so dataset list members. So let's update this with my user ID. Z12309. Okay, and then we have a for that with the member in range of the members, and we are going to print the number of the member and the list members. So I think that's right. Let's see. So the ds list.py. It's running. I think the system needs an upgrade. Yeah, in fact, I think it's needing, or a lot of people running, or my internet connection, don't know. Let's see. Okay. Perfect. So we have Jcl2, Jcl3, and the member name. Something important, you see this +1. When we are talking about arrays, lists inside of Python, we take consideration that the position starts from 0. So we want to first, right? So it's 0 + 1. So that's why. Okay, let's go here. So we're going to do this, nice and simple. So I think this is just for us to We can take a quick peek at the code, figure out what's doing. We are executing that. Okay, the change that we have done. Oh, the documentation. Let's open this. We may need that. Okay, inserting some logic. Next, we'll work with a script that does a bit more, including creating a sequential data set, getting some data. So we are going to copy the members.py from zpublic. Jeez, I hate that. Okay, let's copy the public. What's the name? Members? Yeah, to my home directory. And members. Where is it? Okay, there you go. Pull from mainframe. Okay, again. So now we are importing the modules data sets, jobs and system, but they are importing this, but looks like they are not using. We are importing the sys. So DS name, enter the sequential data set. So we are going to probably provide some data set names. If the data set exists, okay, they found it. Otherwise, they will create that if we give Y. Data sets create this name type. Okay, so here I think is our first challenge. So get your hack on at this point. Discret. So we are going to fix these things. Loading modules. The modules I have just added. We can find again here what is anything done. Get the data set. Line 6 to 18, create a data set. Okay, yeah, in the right sequence. Perfect. So on the members.py, we should create a sequential data set. So if we go here and data sets, let's see, create. What is our command? So we are using create. So let's search that. So create. And what are the types that we are passing? Parameters, the type. So sec large. Okay, so we are going to use the sec. So let's add this here, sec. Primary space. Okay, it looks okay. Uncomment the correct line of code from the 4 lines below, which will get the system linked list representation and assign. Okay, so we get linked list. So we want to linked list output. Okay, so basically this is wrong because we want the linked list output, and we want to get this system's linked list. Let's see. So the system, and we want to linked list. Okay, this is fine. No, list linked list, return a linked list representation of the system. List linked list. So this is the correct one. Let's just uncomment that. So basically, the linked list. Remember when we were installing the Zowe on our system, we have to inform an npm where to find these modules. So the linked list is a place that we have on the ZOS that we can find some modules for our programs. Just overview, quickly explain, really just by the. So okay, we are replacing the commas with a new line character. We are printing that. We are writing linked list to put this name. Well, looks that we are all. Oh, let's see. Looks that we are all good. I think there is something we have to. So grab the linked list. Let's stop writing out. Oh, something is wrong. You need to take a look. So let's take a look on the data set right again. So data sets and data sets. Right. So we should have data set, content, and append. So so here we go. So we have first the data set, which is that's the data set containing nothing. So let's see. So now, what is the name? Members. Oh, there is any name that we need to use. If you completed the tab, you should have okay. My user didn't complete, so z12309.complete. Ah, yes, I want to create that. Perfect. So we should have a complete here. It's refreshing. My connection is not the best one today with the system. Yeah, there you go. So it should submit the check auto. Jcl check auto. Submit job. Yeah, completed, and yeah, we finished that correct. So, well, we have completed all the challenges from fundamentals on ZXplore. Hope you have enjoyed that, and till the next video. Bye bye.